Cal Poly screened a documentary emphasizing the need to change the language used regarding undocumented immigrants.
Oscar-winning film director Spike Lee drew a crowd of students in San Luis Obispo community members alike for a Q&A in Cal Poly's Rec Center.
Students prepared a variety of dishes representing different cultures for a diversity-themed food festival hosted on campus.
Broadcasting from Swanson Studios, you're watching Mustang News.
Hello and welcome to Mustang News. I'm Cameron Ramirez.
And I'm Anna Howard. Here's today's top stories. Cal Poly hosted a screening on the discussion panel of the documentary Change the Subject that aimed to challenge the use of the term illegal alien. The film follows a group of Dartmouth students that fights to remove the term as in the subject heading at Dartmouth Library Catalog. The film demonstrates the way the language can divide people while advocating for the rights of undocumented people. Cal Poly students, community members attended the film to gain knowledge about how to bring more diversity and inclusion to our campus.
And like this kind of stuff educates, especially like the language. I didn't know it's such a minor thing, but it has such an impact on everyone. So I definitely think educating everyone and making everyone more aware of what they're saying and what they're doing is important and will better our reputation as a school.
Cal Poly implemented its diversity action initiatives in 2018 that aim to develop a more inclusive campus culture. Events like Change the Subject are used to present students with opportunities to become more mindful and informed about diverse backgrounds. For a full list on Cal Poly's diversity and inclusion events, visit diversity.calpoly.edu.
On Monday, excited students and fans crowded Cal Poly's Recreation Center while veteran filmmaker Spike Lee sat down for a moderated discussion.
After spending the previous night on the Oscars red carpet, the esteemed creative icon Spike Lee joined the eager crowd gathered in Cal Poly's Recreation Center for an interactive discussion hosted by Cal Poly Professor and Chair of the Ethnic Studies Department, Dr. Denise Esom. Mustang News asked some of the attendees about the impact the event had on them.
It would be so cool to be his student in film school. I think he would tell you like it is. And what he said was so true. Don't let somebody just tell you anything. Make them tell you the truth so they help you get better. That's what a good teacher does.
He's encouraged me through being myself, honestly.
My mother was that kind of teacher. People inspired me when I was younger, and I think that him passing that on to younger people is really going to help them focus on what they want to do in life.
I'm a music major, specifically in piano, so I basically want to perform music, I want to own my own record company, I want to produce my own music.
His movies are all very different, and what he said was just don't keep repeating and keep doing the same old thing.
We all have a voice. We should be able to express what we feel, connect with others, and the thing about it, not everyone's going to like what you're going to do, and that's just a fact. So might as well do it now, start now.
Let it come out of you and tell your own story. We all have tons of stories to tell.
A lot of things that he said that were pertaining to my life and what I'm going through right now. So if I know if he did it for me, I'm pretty sure he did it for other people too.
Lee's upcoming films, The Five Bloods and Prince of Cats. Now we're going to take a look at today's weather. Tessa, what can we expect for the week?
Heading into the weekend, we can anticipate it to heat up, but overall expect cooler temperatures. Stay tuned for more after the break.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. This guy, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right?
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Hey! There are amazing things to discover in the forest.
Toothless, time to go!
What you picking up on, bud?
It's a whole hidden world of wonders. And the perfect place to spend time with family. What better place to let your imagination soar? Experience nature and create a memory you can share. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest or park near you.
Today in San Luis Obispo, we are seeing a high of 61 degrees and a low of 46 degrees. We are experiencing winds between 5 to 10 miles an hour with 55% humidity and 0% chance of precipitation. As we head closer to the coast, we see similar lows of 60 temperatures spanning from Cayucas to Oceano, and they are also having lows in the mid-40s, the coldest being in Pismo Beach at 43 degrees. As we head up to North County, we see a spike in temperatures reaching the high 60s, and the highest being 68 up in Paso and Creston. The lows, however, are some of the lowest in the county, dropping all the way down to the high 30s. As we make our way down to South County, we actually see a range of temperatures spanning the 60s, with the high in Arroyo Grande being 62 degrees, while the high over in Santa Maria is 67. The lows, however, all remain the same in the low 40s. Heading into the weekend, we can expect to see a trend of the low 60s and somewhat cloudy weather to continue, with a spike on Saturday of 66 degrees. The lows in the weekend maintain in the mid to high 40s every night. That's all I have for you for weather. Have a great President's Day weekend. Now over to Evan with sports.
Thanks, Tessa. This past weekend, the Cal Poly men's basketball team faced off against Hawaii. The Mustangs came out on top and have now won 4 games in a row at Mott. They look to extend their hot streak at Cal State Northridge on Thursday. Cal Poly women's basketball team also won on Saturday against Long Beach State. Today they will be in Davis to play the Aggies, who currently sit atop the Big West with a 7-2 record. Cal Poly baseball will play their first game of the season on Friday in Scottsdale against UConn. This game will be a part of the 3-day MLB4 tournament, which features multiple teams that were featured in the College Baseball World Series last year. The Mustangs also will be playing against Michigan on Saturday, and then Vanderbilt, the defending national champion, on Sunday. Also on Friday, the Cal Poly softball team will take part in the Fresno Kickoff Classic.
I grew up in a volleyball environment. I grew up strapped to my mom's chest or back. I grew up in a volleyball environment. I grew up strapped to my mom's chest or back when she was the head coach at Sonoma State University. And even before that, when I was even littler, we were constantly at the beach because she was playing on the AVP.
Tori's life was volleyball from before she can even walk. But a concussion the week of the 2018 NCAA tournament removed her from the sport she loved for over a year.
And the thought process was, okay, well, I'm going to do everything I can to get into beach. And then I got into beach and I had an episode of terrible migraines, and that set me back 6 months.
With beach volleyball out of the picture for 2019, she looked to her last collegiate indoor season to restore hope of getting back on the court.
And then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to do everything I can to be there for next indoor season. And when that didn't happen during double days, that was super off-putting, obviously. And then it was, I want to play at Hawaii. I want to be able to make the timeline to play at Hawaii. And I didn't reach that one. So there's 4 goals that are unmet. And for me, not meeting goals is foreign.
Despite not meeting her initial goals, Tori was able to play in her last 2 indoor volleyball games in the 2019 NCAA tournament.
I've never been oh, well, volleyball is just not my thing anymore. This is just all the steps that's making me stronger than my opponent come the time that I am going to be on an Olympic podium.
Tori is now fully cleared, and the number 7 ranked Cal Poly beach volleyball team will begin their season on February 22nd in Florida.
Cal Poly beach volleyball will play in their brand new stadium on February 29th against Pepperdine and Loyola Marymount. That's all for sports. Now back to Cameron and Anna.
After the break, find out how students are using food to celebrate diversity on campus. We'll be right back.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason. Because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. because love has no labels.
Operation Wonder Park is a go!
There's nothing more powerful than imagination.
Honey, have you seen my cell phone?
But don't just imagine.
My park came to life?
Ooh, a plot twist.
Use STEM to build, create.
She did it.
And change the world.
Who's with me?
I'm more of a 2 feet on the ground kind of guy.
It's gonna hurt tomorrow.
If she can STEM, so can you. Find out more at She Can STEM.
The International Center worked with students to host a free international food festival for students. Reporter Katie Tarou has more.
Students who are tired of run-of-the-mill campus dining got to try new foods from different cultures last week at the Taste of the World Festival. Held in front of Campus Market, the Cal Poly International Center hosted this event for the 5th year in a row as a way to promote their diversity and inclusion efforts around campus.
We envisioned this event 5 years ago plus as an opportunity to showcase international cultures, foods here at Cal Poly, and just to celebrate all of our different identities and to support students who are here from abroad, scholars who are here, as well as our efforts in getting students abroad for study or international trips, service learning, etc.
Students were able to experience and celebrate these identities through recipes from around the world and different cultural activities. To put on the event, the International Center partnered with the Food Science Operations class, FSN 344, to plan what dishes would be offered at the festival.
I think this is a really cool event. I've never done anything like it. Just like the mass quantity of food that we have produced, we're aiming for about 750 servings of each, so it's a lot, and like all of the different like intricacies that go into planning all of it and like prepping and preparing everything. It took a lot of effort, but it's really cool to like see how it all came to like become what it is today.
The recipes served were proposed by students who wanted to share their food and culture. Then the food science class would create the dishes and serve them to the International Center in test runs to see which recipes were the best and which would be showcased at the festival. Students suggested everything from Spam sous vide to mochi cakes to pierogies. For Mustang News, I'm Katie Tarou.
You can look forward to trying a new set of international foods at the annual festival next winter.
Good news for slow locals, visitors, and outdoor junkies. New hikes are open for the new year. The Pismo Preserve opened 11 miles of hiking trails to the public earlier this year by the Land Conservancy. Outreach Manager Jamie Creeth estimates the preserve receives 1,000 visitors a day, and that number is on the rise as word spreads, bringing even more cars to the Matty Road intersection.
Certainly people are asking if we're going to add more parking, which unfortunately, due to site constraints, the parking that we have is the parking we're going to have.
The city
Overall, besides some parking hiccups, we've had great positive feedback.
The city of Pismo is working with the Conservancy to add a sidewalk under the 101 freeway overpass for safer pedestrian access to the trails. As for now, the Conservancy is encouraging visitors to park in public parking lots to avoid ticketing before heading into the hills, which will be open daily to visitors from 6 to 7 p.m. to hike, bike, or horseback ride.
If you've ever owned or currently own a fake ID, then you may want to listen up. When given a fake ID, bouncers typically give underage individuals the chance to walk away. But if they choose to stay, then Officer Joe Herney with the San Luis Obispo Police Department will get a call. The department then receives about 5 to 10 calls a night to respond to determine whether an ID is fake or not.
And in California, there's a law that says that anyone that sells alcohol can seize an ID that they believe is fake with the intent to turn it over to the police department. So if we arrive on scene and somebody wants their ID verified, we'll take a look at it and see if we can see any problems with it immediately just on surface value.
Owning a fake ID is a misdemeanor and can result in a fine of at least $250 or 24 to 32 hours of community service. Both owning a fake ID and using someone else's is considered fraudulent and can carry much heavier charges. The San Luis Obispo Police Department encourages underage people to wait until they're 21 to go downtown. And that's all we have for you this week. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Anna Howard.
And I'm Cameron Ramirez. See you next time.